Hello and welcome to Justice Live. My name's Jenny Afia and I'm a lawyer at Schillings International. We specialise in protecting the reputation, privacy and security of individuals and organisations. We see a huge amount of injustice in our work when people are the targets of untrue claims and assaults on their privacy. So we are passionate about fairness, the rule of law and equity. It is a real privilege to be collaborating with Peace One Day to present Justice Live on the International Day of Criminal Justice. We're joined now by President Kaukuranta, who is the President of the Assembly of States Parties of the International Criminal Court. President Kaukuranta, it's fantastic to speak with you today. Welcome to Justice Live.
Hello, it's my pleasure.
Could you tell us a bit about yourself and your journey to this point?
I'm a Finnish lawyer. I studied law and did my training on the bench, including some criminal cases in Finland. I started my career as a young lawyer with the Save the Children Finland, and soon thereafter, in 1989, I joined the legal department of the Ministry for Foreign Affairs. I think one of my first connections with the idea of permanent international criminal court was some 30 years ago when Professor Pasiuni, on his trips to different countries, trying to convince countries to support this idea, visited Finland. And soon thereafter, the negotiations on the establishment of the court were started. I participated as a delegate of Finland to those prepcoms. I then also led many of the Finnish delegations to the Assembly of States Parties once the court was established. Then during the 4 years when I was ambassador of Finland to the Netherlands, I worked very closely with the court. As you can see on the basis of wrinkles on my face, I've had a long journey with the court already. I think over the years that has brought me a feeling of ownership and pride of the work that the court does. And it is a privilege, of course, for me to be serving the court, and I try to do my best to be worthy of this position that has been entrusted with me by the states parties.
And could you just summarise for everyone watching, what is the focus of the ICC?
For the ICC, it is the only permanent international criminal court to investigate, prosecute, and try individuals accused of committing the most serious crimes of concern to the whole international community. That is the crime of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and crime of aggression. And the International Criminal Court is not a substitute for national courts. It continues to be the responsibility of states parties or states to exercise criminal jurisdiction over those serious crimes. ICC is in a kind of a court of last resort. It can only intervene where a state is unable or unwilling genuinely to carry out the investigation and prosecute the perpetrators. And to conclude, the primary mission of the International Criminal Court is to help to put an end to impunity for the perpetrators of the most serious crimes of concern to the international community, and thus to contribute to the prevention of such crimes.
And then what's the role of the Assembly State Parties within the ICC?
The Assembly of States Parties in a kind of court's management oversight and legislative body, and is composed of representatives of states which have ratified the or acceded the Rome Statute. In its annual sessions, the Assembly considers a number of issues, including budget of the court, status of contributions, and the audit reports. In addition, the Assembly considers reports on the activities of the Bureau, the court, and the board of directors of the Trust Fund for Victims. And further important role, the Assembly is tasked with the election of, for example, judges, the prosecutor and deputy prosecutor, And the Assembly may also decide on to amend the Rome Statute.
July the 17th is the Day of International Criminal Justice. What does that mean to you?
7th of July marks, of course, the anniversary of the adoption of the Rome Statute, the founding treaty of the International Criminal Court that happened 26 years ago. I think it recognizes the link between justice and peace. It helps us to acknowledge the importance of upholding such a system of international criminal justice. We need a resilient, robust system of international criminal justice that can address the gravest and most shocking crimes. For me, the 17th of July also gives an opportunity to underline our unwavering support for the court. That is an independent and impartial judicial institution, and we must defend the ICC against any attempt to undermine its work and any threats against the court and its staff.
And what kind of threats or what kind of barriers to achieving true justice do you see?
Of course, no society is immune for criminality, but especially in societies recovering from violent conflict, there are many barriers to justice: financial, geographical, linguistic, logistical, gender-specific, and improving access is, of course, not only about more courtrooms or more staff. It's also about the quality of justice. When we speak specifically about the achieving justice through proceedings in the ICC, I see that the responsibility and role of states parties is and also of non-state parties. Their role to cooperate with the International Criminal Court is essential. Of course, we must cooperate also with the defense in order to ensure fairness of our proceedings. Cooperation in collection of evidence, execution of arrest warrants, identify and seizing of assets, enforcement of sentences, protective measures for victims and witnesses, funding the trust fund for victims. Just some examples where the role of states parties to ensure that justice can be done through the proceedings of the ICC. I would raise those as very essential things, and if this does not function, there are barriers to have this true justice.
And do you think our digital world is changing the landscape of criminal justice?
Of course, this may be not my field of expertise, but I think digitalization is a catalyst to cross-border crime, such as terrorism and cybercrime, and it provides new tools for those who plan and commit the most serious crimes of concern. And even the ICC has been targeted with cyber attacks. Criminals can remain anonymous and gain access to huge amounts of personal data stored online. So the opportunities for crime in cyberspace are enormous. And it's easier than ever to carry out and more difficult to detect crimes. There is then also the whole new world of artificial intelligence. All this advanced technology has brought new possibilities and challenges to the table. While modern offenders can use technologies to commit sophisticated crimes and evade detection, also law enforcement officials can benefit from digitalization and new technology. They can, when they uncover criminal activities and deliver justice. Needless to say that also the International Criminal Court needs these tools and resources to be able to compete with the criminals.
These issues all feel so big and so serious. How can just any individuals, any one of us, help support justice?
At the outset, I would wish to give credit to the civil society, all individuals who have supported to the contribution or contributed to the establishment of the court. I think their role was enormous, and they have continued to give their support in the challenging times to the court. And generally speaking, well-informed public can contribute to guaranteeing lasting respect for and enforcement of international justice. And in the case of individuals' own situation, once you know your rights, then you can take your steps to justice. And on the Day of International Criminal Justice, all individuals can express their support to justice and to the International Criminal Court.
That's encouraging. President Kaukuranta, thank you so much for your time. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.